shifting your weight back into your heels. And again, shifting your weight forwards and back. And then a slight shift to the side and side. And we're just going to do some little circles, so shifting your weight to the side, to the front, to the other side, rocking your weight back through your heels and circling around. Again, we're just slowing our breath down, we're just connecting into our body, so trying to forget about all the things we've been doing today, just dropping into our body so that we can kind of feel what's happening. Notice any sensation through your ankles, through your feet. Let's kind of circle the opposite way. Notice whether the surface you're standing on is soft or hard or cold, just kind of really focusing on what's happening right now. And then as you come back in through centre, we're going to bring our weight back through our heels. Take a moment here. Again, just to take a deep breath, let go of any tension. Check your jaw, your shoulders, your neck, all of the usual places that you know that you tend to hold tension. And as you inhale, we're going to open our arms out, reaching your arms up towards the sky. Take your gaze up towards your hands. And then exhale, turn the hands over so your palms face down as you float the arms down gently to your sides. So again, so as you inhale, palms reach up, then come together overhead, grow tall, look towards your hands, and as you exhale, we're going to press those hands down. Let's do one more time like that. Grow tall, and then exhale, just release. Take your hands behind and just interlace your fingers behind your back and just lift your hands away from your bottom, and we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Let your shoulders drop down away from your ears. And then bring your hands together in front and interlace your fingers here and turn the hands so the palms are pressing away from you. And hold here for a couple of breaths. We're going to do the same again, but we're going to move the hands along one finger. So you'll always kind of interlace the same way. If you kind of move it along one finger, it will feel weird. So do that behind your back again. And again, you're going to lift your hands away from your bottom. Keep your weight back through your heels, and let's hold here for a couple of breaths. And we're going to do the same in front, so releasing those hands. Again, interlace them one finger along. Turn the hands over, pressing your palms away, and stretch here. Pressing into those hands, take a few breaths. And then just release those hands there. Alright, just kind of give everything a wriggle, making sure we're all nice and loose. So we're going to keep switching sides, and you probably heard me say, my left and my right is not my strongest point. I always tend to start on the right, so I'll always do the right first and then the left. I shouldn't do that, but that's just the way that I always do it. So we're going to start there. So I'm going to stand sideways so you can kind of see what I'm doing. My mat is this way. And we're going to let's step the right leg back into like a high lunge position. So we've stepped that right leg back, and then I'm just softening that back knee. So I'm not coming down into a really deep lunge. I've just got a soft bend in that right, in that right knee. Okay, so my front leg is kind of bent, fairly bent, maybe not 90 degrees, but it's a fairly good bend, and I've got my knee over my ankle. So just kind of get that little bit of a setup there. Okay, and we're going to do the arms again like we did before. So we're going to inhale, we're going to open the arms out, reaching up towards the sky, and then exhale as we float those hands back down. We'll do that again. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. You can look up towards your hands if it makes you not lose your balance. Lower the hands down. We're going to do one more like that. And release the hands down. We're going to float the arms up in front now. So palms are going to face in towards each other as we reach those arms in front. And then we're going to take those arms back and reach them behind. Again, so arms are going to come up in front. So nice and slow, nice and controlled. Reach the arms forward, maybe high. And then take the arms back. One more time. Reach the arms forwards. And then reach the arms back. Releasing those hands now. So we're going to pivot here. So we're going to step that back heel down. I'm going to turn my back to you and then I'm going to switch around. So step that back heel down. So we're going to keep that front leg bent forwards and we've kind of twisted to the side. So you're in a side lunge position. I'm just going to turn around so that I'm facing the same way. So we've got that front leg bent, your left leg is bent, that right leg is out straight here. Don't worry too much about where your hips are, just as long as it feels fairly comfortable for you here, okay? So we're going to take our arms out to the side, palms are going to face up. We're going to really think about plugging this front leg into the hip socket and try and get that back foot flat down. We're going to do a little side bend here over that straight leg, so that back arm is going to drop down towards your leg and that front arm is going to reach up towards the sky. And then we're just going to come back and those arms are going to reach out to the sides again. Just go at your own pace. We're just going to do a few of these little side bends here, nice and slow, don't force anything. Nice and strong through those legs. And then as you come out to that arms in that T position, we're going to hold here, palms are facing up. Couple of breaths here. So we're going to go back into that high lunge position that we started with. So that back leg, we're going to again pivot onto our toes. That back leg's just a little bit soft, that front leg's quite bent, and we're back into that high lunge position. I know I've switched sides, but you've still got the same leg. And we're going to reach the arms forwards again, just like we did before, and then sweep the arms back. So it's exactly the same. Reach the arms forwards and back. One more time like that, reach the arms forwards and back. This time as you sweep your arms forwards, we're going to see if we can come back to standing. So we're going to bring this back leg with us, reach forward, push into that front leg. Can you slide that back leg in and come back to standing without losing your balance? Or if you need to kind of step it in, that's fine too. But it's kind of building that balance and that control to step in. Okay, just stand for a moment. We're going to do all of that on the other side. So I'm going to step back here to my other side where I started from. So just again, feet hip width apart. This time you're going to step your left leg back. I'll be on the right side this time. So that left leg is going to step back into that high lunge position, and you can play around with whereabouts you want that back leg to be. Just a soft bend of that knee, and that front leg is nice and bent here. Just kind of settle in, make sure that you're happy with this position. So you can step that leg further if you need to. Don't worry too much about where your hips are here. We're just using this to move and to really find this movement into our legs, okay? Are you happy here? Okay, so we're going to do the inhale again as we reach the arms out and up towards the sky, grow tall. Again, you can take your gaze up towards your hands if it doesn't make you fall, and then lowering those hands all the way down. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms open out, reach up towards the sky. And exhale as you lower those hands back down. We're going to do one more like that. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale as you lower those hands down. We're going to swing the arms forwards and back. Well, don't swing, but reach the arms forwards. And then take them back. Again, reaching forwards. And back. Good job. Forwards. And take the arms back. Okay, so again, we're going to kind of pivot into that side position. So that back foot, you're going to turn it out to bring the heel down. And we've got that front leg bent. So you're in more of a side lunge position this time. Again, if you need to step your legs wider, feel free to kind of find the position that feels nice and works for you. Take your arms out to the side. Palms are facing up towards the sky. We're going to do that little side bend over that straight leg again. So we're going to let that hand come down towards your leg as you take that other arm overhead. And then just come back into that arms in that T position. We're keeping that front leg bent, keeping that back leg straight as you take it into a side bend. And come back up. And again. Side bend. Come back up. Finding those arms in the T position, palms are facing up. We're going to hold here again for just, for a couple of breaths. Alright, we're going to release the hands. We're going to again pivot back into that high lunge position, so that back foot. We're going to pivot onto those toes again, that soft knee facing towards the front again like we did before. And we're going to inhale, reach the arms forwards. And exhale, take them back. Again, forwards and back. One more time. And then again, we're going to try and step that back leg in so that we can come back up to standing. If you need to do a couple of steps to get there, you can. We're going to lean into that front leg, step that back leg in, and place your foot down. And again, just pausing there for a moment. Good job. Okay. So we're going to play around with that high lunge a little bit more. I'm going to go back to this side because it makes more sense then if I'm on this side. So again, you're going to step your right leg back. Do it super slow this time. So lift the right leg. Take that leg back, super controlled, super slow as you step into that high lunge position. Now this time we are going to bend that back knee a little bit more. So kind of bend that back knee more. Find a position that feels okay for you. If you need to, you can always go near a wall if you want to. We want to find a fairly neutral pelvis here, so we're not letting that pelvis really tip. So we've kind of got a little bit of a tuck here so that our pelvis is more neutral. And we're going to open our arms out to that T position, palms are facing up. Okay, so we're going to add a little twist this time. So take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, we're going to twist towards the bent knee. So twist towards your bent knee and then hold. Take some deep breaths here in this twist position. If you feel like you're going to fall, you can bring your hands onto your hips for a little bit more stability. If holding your arms out is making you feel more wobbly, or like I say, go near a wall if you want to. Take some deep breaths here. If it's bothering your lower back, check your ribs, drop those ribs. One more breath here. Oh, I'm straightening that back knee, trying to get out of this horrible lunge. When you're ready, twist back in through centre, arms out to that T position and lower those hands down. Check that back knee. Do you need to give it a little bit more bend again? Take a couple of breaths here. We're going to reach those arms out in front and we're going to turn them out so they're in that external rotation, so your palms are facing up towards the sky. And we're going to lift the arms up and lower them down. Keep them in that turned out, that external rotation position. Again, can you lift the arms? They might not go super high, that's okay. Are your legs as wobbly as mine are right now? Lowering the arms. Do one more time, lift. And lowering those arms all the way down. Okay, release the hands. We're going to try and step forward into standing again. Can you come up and step that leg down? Just pausing for a moment there. We're going to do that on the other side. I'm going to turn just so that it's a little bit easier. So you're going to step your left leg back super, super slow. Makes it much harder the slower you go. Stepping that leg back, finding the floor. And then again, you can play around with the depth of your lunge position. We're going to bend that back knee more, again on this side, and try and find a bit more of a neutral pelvis. And we're going to hold here. Couple of breaths. Even just holding a lunge can be a lot of work, We're going to take those arms out to that T position. Again, palms are facing up. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, again, you're going to twist towards that bent knee. And then we're just going to hold it here. Take some deep breaths, holding in that twist. Again, if it's bothering your back, check in with your ribs. Good job. When you're ready, we're going to come back in through centre. Just release those arms down, holding that lunge. Check that back knee. Is it starting to straighten out? Mine was, for sure, for sure. Take those arms out in front, and again, let's externally rotate. So roll the arms out so the palms are facing up. And can you lift the arms up and lower them down? Again, can you lift and lower? Whew. One more time. Lift and lower. All right, we're going to see if we can come back up to standing. Again, if you need to step that right leg to come in, do. Otherwise, leaning forwards, pushing into that front leg to bring that back leg in, and then just stand again for a moment there and just take a couple of breaths. Okay, we're going to step back again with the right leg. So when you're ready, step that right leg back. Find that high lunge position. Okay, now this time we're going to turn to the side. So we're going to again pivot that back foot so that you can turn to the side, and we're in that kind of side lunge. And again, you can play around with your foot position here, making this movement as big or as small as feels good to you. Arms out to the sides, palms are facing up. Now I want you to reach towards that bent knee, but reach with your ribs. So you're going to kind of lead with the ribs. Can you reach? So it looks like you're just reaching your arms, but we're thinking about reaching those ribs. Hold here and take a couple of breaths. And then bring it back in. We're going to do that again. We're going to reach from the ribs. Reach to the side. And hold there. And then bring it back in. One more time, reach the ribs. Now if you want to, you can take that top arm up towards the ceiling, bring that other arm up as well, so you're kind of in a diagonal position. If that feels too much, just kind of go back to where you were here. But that's kind of a little bit more of a challenge here. Take a couple of breaths. And then arms back into that T position. Draw your ribs back in, and we're going to come up. So we're going to straighten both legs out, and we're just going to switch sides. So we're going to turn the foot, and then bend the front knee. So you're exactly the same, but you've just switched sides, yeah? Okay, so you've got that right knee bent, left leg long. Take your arms out again to that T position here. We're going to do that rib reach again, so leading with the rib. Shift your rib to the side. It looks like you're reaching the arm, but you're leading with the ribs. Hold for a moment here. Taking some deep breaths. Really pushing into those feet, really connected into the floor, and then bring it back in. Again, reach with the ribs. Reach, 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 reach. Hold for a breath. And then when you're ready, bring it back in. And again, reach with the ribs. Reach, reach, reach. And then either choosing to keep your arms in the T or reaching those arms up and overhead to that diagonal. Hold for a couple of breaths here. Arms back out into that T position, and we're going to come up. We're going to straighten both legs. Bring so your feet are both pointing forward. Bring your both feet forwards and just do a little hip shift, a little shimmy of your hips side to side here. We're going to do a little forward fold here, so folding at your hips, stick your bottom out and just leaning forward. You can place your hands on your thighs. You can slide them down your legs, just come to wherever feels good to you. You can allow your spine to round down and bring your hands down to the floor if that feels good to you. You can have a soft knee here and just kind of hang. We're using this as a little bit of a reset. So just do whatever feels right for you right now. Couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly come back out. Whew. Come back out of that. And let's turn our feet out. So turning both feet out and then squat down. So finding that like wide leg squat position here. Okay, and then let's take our arms out to the side. I'm going to do a little side bend here. So I'm going to take one arm up towards the sky. I'm going to just kind of drop one arm down towards the floor. And then we're going to open out and switch to the other side. Just go nice and slow. Nice and controlled. You're in charge of your squat. You can kind of take it as deep as you want to, or you can lift it as high as you want to, as we just go gently from side to side. Your legs are working super hard, and obviously you can just rest at any time if you need to. Alright, as you release that this time, let's bring those toes forwards again. Just do a little hip shift side to side, a little reset here. And then we're going to do that wide leg squat again. So turn your toes out again, find your squat position, and you can either just do that little side bend that we were doing, or maybe you can bring your fingertips all the way down to the floor and then to the other side. If it doesn't feel nice to go to the floor, you can just kind of do your side bend, you can have your hand resting on your thigh. Again, we're just kind of using this to move. We're really working the legs by making them hold. We're building that strength and stamina in our legs here. Whew. All right. All right, and then when you're ready, just come on up and out of that. So we're going to go towards our left leg. So we're going to go back to that high lunge position. Left leg is going to stay forwards, and we're going to pivot that right foot back to find that high lunge position again. So a soft back knee, doesn't need to be a really bent knee here, you don't want it to be really bent knee. So just let your body settle into this kind of high lunge position. And then let's inhale again as we open the arms out, reaching the arms up towards the sky. Just hold up towards the sky here for a couple of breaths. Watch those ribs. And then just release those hands down. Good job. Okay. Let's reach the arms up again. Hold for a couple of breaths. And release the hands down. Okay. So we're going to see if we can come into like a little bit of a warrior three position, and we've done this before. Let's see if we can lift this back leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to step our weight forwards into this front leg and see if we can float that back leg up. So maybe you want to step that back leg in a little bit, and then can you float that back leg up? I need to step away from the wall. Can you float that back leg up? You can reach your arms forwards if you want to. You can go near a wall if you want to, but can you just lift that back leg off the floor? Doesn't have to be high. You can have just your toes down on the floor if you want to. You can lift it just off the floor. Maybe you're feeling super balanced today and you can reach those arms forward. Can you hold here for a couple of breaths? Balance, strength, really working that standing leg. If it's bothering your lower back, check in with the ribs. Don't want to be arching our back. And then when you're ready, lowering that back leg down and coming all the way back down. I'm going to try that on the other side. So we're going to turn to our high lunge position on the other side. Right leg's forward this time. Back leg is back. Back leg is back. Left leg is back. Find that high lunge, so a soft knee. Let's again just do the arm reach in. So circling the arms up towards the sky, looking up towards your hands. And then when you're ready, just releasing those hands down. Do that again. Reaching the arms up towards the sky, looking up towards your hands. Just hold for a couple of breaths. And then releasing those hands down. So again, we're going to see if we can find that balance on this side. So you might want to step your leg in a little bit, weight comes into that front leg, and then maybe reaching the arms forwards as you float that back leg off the floor. And again, if you want to, you can just have your toes down. You can have the leg lifted, just play around with. It's a balance challenge, it's a balance and a strength challenge, so do what feels okay for you. Yeah, really nice. Couple of breaths. Whew. And then when you're ready, gently release down. Good job. Step your legs wide, do your little ship shift, that's not right, is it? Hip shift, side to side, just release it out. Really nice. Okay, let's turn our right foot to face to the right. Left foot is going to face straight ahead. Okay, and then we're going to bend that right knee. So kind of find that little side lunge or that warrior two position here. Oh, okay. Just hold for a couple of breaths. So we're going to do that rib reach again. So you're going to reach your ribs to the right. So reach the ribs to the right. And then this time, bringing your elbow down towards your knee. And then reaching that left arm up towards the sky. So don't have all of your weight just kind of dropped on this knee. Just have it just gently touching and you can reach that arm overhead. Take a couple of breaths here. And then turn your head to look up towards the sky, so you're kind of looking under your arm. How does that feel on your neck? Are you pressing your supporting elbow into that leg a lot? Can you unweight it a little bit? As we take a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to release that top arm. And we're going to come all the way back up. And we're just going to do the same on the other side. So right foot's going to face forward, left foot's going to face out towards the side. And we're going to bend that left leg. Again, we're just going to hold here for a moment, just letting your body settle. Letting those legs kind of figure out where they need to be. Nice and strong, nice and stable. I always think about plugging this thigh bone like into the hip socket, so it's like really connected, so I feel really stable and really strong. And then I almost imagine that I'm drawing my legs towards each other even though they're not going anywhere, so that I feel really strong through those legs. We're going to do the same on this side. So shifting your ribs towards that bent leg first, letting that elbow come down just to lightly rest on that thigh, and reaching that other arm up and over and taking it over to a little bit of a side bend. You can take it right over if you want to. I'm just kind of reaching for that diagonal and holding here. Check in with your ribs, take some deep breaths. Really good. And then when you're ready, release that arm. Come back in through centre. We're going to turn the feet the other way again. So let's again turn the right foot to point away. Left foot's going to face forwards. And let's find that bent right leg again this time. Okay, so this time we're going to again try and lift the back leg, but we're kind of facing the side a little bit more. So we're going to play around with this, so don't worry how it looks or how far you go. Okay, so let's take our arms out to the sides. Okay, and then let's again shift our ribs. I'm trying to think the best way to get into it. Shift our ribs to the side, and then we're going to step our way into the bent leg, but step this back leg in. So let's kind of step, and then push into that right leg and lift that left leg off the floor. And you can just go onto your toes. You can lift that leg, or you can lift it higher. Maybe you can have one arm reaching towards the floor, one arm reaching towards the ceiling. Can you get your balance there? Maybe. If you need to bring that leg back down, that's fine. And just be here. You can go near a wall. It's actually really nice to practice that, kind of leaning against a wall. It's kind of a nice place to play with that movement. A little bit of a wobble, a little bit of a balance challenge, and then when you're ready, step that back leg down. Shall we try it on the other side? So we're going to turn our other leg. Left leg's going to point towards the end of your mat. Right foot's going to point to the side. Find that bent knee position first. Just again take a moment to settle here. Get your legs to feel nice, stable, nice and strong. Arms out. Shift your ribs. Okay, so again we're going to step, and then float that back leg in. Weight into this front leg. Step in one. Step in two. Once that leg's quite close, can you float that back leg up? Front leg can be super straight, or you can have a little bend in it. Either is fine. Again, it's balance, it's strength, it's stability in that standing leg. Really good. And when you're ready, lowering that leg down. Give your legs a little shake. Really nice. Hard. I know it's really hard work. But I thought it would be a bit of fun, a bit of challenge to play with our balance and how stable and strong we are with our lower body. Okay, so let's have a look at our arms now. Let's stack our elbows one on top of the other and try and bring the backs of your hands together. Try and get the backs of our hands to touch. Maybe. Okay. Let your shoulders relax down away from your ears. And then we've got our feet. Let's take our feet slightly wider than hip width apart. And then can you send your bottom back into like a little mini squat? So it's not a big squat, just like a little mini squat. Check in with your ribs. Keep your ribs drawn in. And can you hold here for a couple of breaths? And then push into your heels, come back up to standing, release the arms and just let the arms swing a couple of times. And then let's do the arms on the other side. So other arm leads this time, elbows are stacked, trying to get the backs of your hands together. Once you've kind of figured out your hands, your arms, let's again do that little mini squat. Stick your bottom out, little squat, doesn't need to be big. Weight back through your heels. Really trying to work our glutes and hamstrings here. So we're just sitting back enough so that we can feel that. And just take a couple of breaths there. Good job. And then when you're ready, push through your heels, come back up to standing, swing your arms. Oh. So there's loads of variations you can do that. I just like holding the mini squat, but if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could take that into a single leg squat with those eagle arms. Just the mini squat is kind of enough for me right now, but you might want to challenge yourself just that little bit more. We are going to play around with our squats a little bit more here. So let's come back to feet hip width apart again. Maybe take them just a bit wider than hip width apart. And this time, see if you can come up onto the balls of your feet, so rising up off your heels, and then can you squat down here? So again, stick your bottom out, which is really tricky when you've not got your heels down, and come into a squat. Can you keep your heels up? Ooh, how's your balance? You can have your hands out to the side, you can have them forward. How low can you come in that squat? Just go to where you can get to. Maybe you can get all the way down, but it doesn't matter if you can or you can't. Just take it to your maximum position. Try and keep your heels up. Once you've gone as far as you can you go back up, keeping those heels up. Nice and controlled, nice and slow. Once you get all the way back up to standing, we're going to reach our arms up towards the sky. Still on your toes. Oh, and then circle your arms and lower your heels. My heels came down a little bit quicker than I wanted them to there. Let's do that again, because it's so much fun. So again, coming up onto the balls of your feet, lifting those heels. Start to squat down. It can be a mini squat, it doesn't have to be a deep squat. How far do you want to go? How far can you control it? Can you really push the big toe joint down into the floor? Because it makes you want to roll onto the outside edges of your feet. It makes you want to roll onto your little toe side more. Once you've gone as far as you're going, you're just going to go back up. All the way. Ooh, back up, back up, back up. Once you're up as high as you can, reach your arms up to the ceiling again, grow a tall hold. And then again, lower your heels, lower your hands. Again, I dropped down way too fast. It would be really nice to control it down. Give your legs a little shake out. Let's do a top of the foot stretch. Your feet will really like that. Taking one leg back, tucking those toes under. Let your ribs relax down. Give your feet a little stretch out. Let's try the other side. Other leg, step back, tuck the toes under. Standing tall. Couple of breaths. All right. Releasing. Give your legs a little shake out. So standing with your feet hip width apart, we're going to do our transition down to the floor where we circle the arms and we step back into a plank, but we're going to, so just make sure you've got enough room behind you. You kind of want to step towards the front of your mat a little bit here. So feet hip width apart. On an inhale, open your arms out and reach your arms up towards the sky. Take your gaze up towards your hands. As you exhale, circle your arms out to the side, kind of swan dive forwards and round all the way down. Soft knees, just kind of hang over your legs here for a moment. Okay, from here, bend your knees as much as you need to, just to get your hands down to the floor so that you can step back into a plank position. So step one leg back at a time to find your plank position, nice and stable here. And then we're going to find that downward facing dog. So you're going to pike your bottom up towards the sky and then pedal your feet here. So pushing into those hands, looking towards your toes as you just pedal those feet. And then we're going to go from this downward facing dog back into a plank again. So rolling your hips forwards to find that plank and then pike your bottom up towards the sky again. Find that downward facing dog and pedal your feet. We're going to do that a few times, so just go at your own pace between that downward dog and that plank. Keeping it nice and controlled. Good. I'm going to come forwards into a plank, holding in that plank. Now I want you to allow your pelvis to dip on one side and then dip on the other side. It's like a little twist of your pelvis. Try and keep your shoulders, everything else fairly still, but just allow your pelvis to dip. Can you feel how much your core has to work to try and pick that pelvis back up as you twist, gentle twist, side to side, dropping that pelvis, whew, side to side, All right, and then come down onto your knees and come on off your hands. Oh, get your breath back. Yeah. Give your shoulders a little roll here. Roll them the other way. Good. Maybe just gently turn your head side to side. Okay, we're going to go over onto our back next. So when you're ready, come over onto your back. Just have your arms where it feels comfortable for you. I kind of like mine out in that T position, but you can have yours wherever feels good. Good. And then picking your knees up, bring your knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug and let's rock gently here. And then we're going to keep hold of one leg and we're going to straighten the other leg out long on the floor. So I've got one leg reaching away, one leg drawing in towards you. I'm going to take a good stretch into these legs, into these hips now. And while you're here, just checking in with the rest of your body. So notice if you are teeth clenching or frowning or shoulders up around your ears. Try and relax everything as much as you can here. And then that free leg that's out long, we're going to just slide that leg back in so the knee's bent and the foot is flat on the floor. And we're going to take it into a number 4 stretch. So the leg we've got hold of, cross that ankle over your opposite knee. Find in that number 4 stretch position. And check whether you have hitched your hip up on that leg, on that side where the legs come across. Is that hip higher on that side? Try and find length down both sides of your waist. And then you can choose to either keep your supporting leg down on the floor or you can float it up and hold behind that thigh into your deeper number 4 stretch if that feels good. And then we're going to, again, take it even deeper in this number 4 stretch. So the supporting leg that we've got hold of, we're going to let go of that leg. And we're going to straighten that leg out. So that leg's going to reach away from you. And then bend that knee back in. And as you bend the knee back in, it's going to pull that leg that we're stretching even deeper in towards you. So again, straighten the supporting leg out, reach that leg away from you, and then bend it back in. Only go to where it feels okay for you. Don't force anything. Good job. Nice and slow. And as you bring that leg in this time, we're going to place that supporting foot back down onto the floor. Keeping that number 4 stretch position, we're going to roll to bring the sole of our foot down on the floor. So kind of roll to get that foot down on the floor. Notice if your knee's trying to collapse and drop towards you, try and keep that knee pointing up towards the sky. And then rolling your upper body back out into the floor. Can you find that T position with your arms here? You take some deep breaths. If it's bothering your hip, just go into a spine twist. You don't have to stay in this number 4 if it doesn't feel nice for you here. Taking those deep breaths. Good job. All right. Bend your arms and push your elbows into the floor to help roll you onto your back here. Okay, and that leg that we've got going across, we're going to bring it in towards us to find our happy baby stretch. So hold behind that knee and pull that knee in towards your chest and straighten the lower leg up towards the sky. Can you get your foot flat and the sole of your foot pointing up? Now you can choose to hold behind that knee, or maybe if you can reach the outside edge of that foot. So you're in that kind of half happy baby position here. And let's take some deep breaths. And if it feels good, maybe you want to give the back of that leg, that hamstring, a little bit of attention. You can just rub there, give that a little A little TLC. We tend to get kind of overlooked a little bit, the hamstring, so let's give it a little bit of love. Okay, one more breath in this half happy baby, and then we're going to do the other side. So when you're ready, releasing that leg back down to the floor. We're going to straighten that leg out long on the floor and bring your other knee in towards your chest. One leg reaching away, other leg drawing in towards you. Let's take some deep breaths here. Again, just taking this time to check through your body and soften any tension that you're holding on to. So check your hot spots. How's your jaw? How's your neck and shoulders? Can you find a little bit more softness? Good job. And then the leg that we've got out long, we're going to slide it back in for our stable leg so that we can do our number 4 stretch on this side. The leg you're holding on to, cross that ankle over your opposite knee. And again, just taking a moment there to check that we've got length through both sides of the waist and we haven't hitched that hip up higher. A few breaths here. And then again, either choosing to keep that supporting leg down on the floor or picking it up to take that number 4 stretch that little deeper. So immediately as I've picked that leg up, it's maybe when I hold a lot of tension in my jaw. So just check with you if you notice anywhere that your body just grips when you change position. And then again, you can choose to stay here, or we can take it that little step further, letting go of that supporting leg, reaching that leg away from you, and then bending that knee to draw it back in. Again, getting deeper into that stretch here. Don't force it. If it gives you any pain, it's not right for you. You can hold any of the number 4 stretch versions if you need to. And then as that leg comes back in this time, again, supporting foot's going to come back down onto the floor, and we're going to roll to bring the sole of your foot down. Watch that knee collapse in, knee's going to stay pointing up towards the sky. And we're going to roll our upper body back out into the mat, finding that T position here. And just because it felt nice on one side doesn't mean it will always feel nice on both sides. So if you need to come out of this, obviously just go into your spine twist position. Alright, we're going to roll onto our back again. So again, you can bend your elbows, press your elbows into the floor just to give you a little bit of support to come back into that. Back onto your back, and we're going to find that half happy baby on this side. So again, bringing that leg in towards you. Get the sole of your foot pointing up towards the sky, shin vertical-ish, and either holding behind your knee, or if you can reaching up to hold that outside edge of your foot. Taking some deep breaths here, and again, if you want to, you can give that hamstring a little bit of attention. Good. 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, releasing that leg down. We're going to take it into our cobbler stretch now. So the soles of your feet together, knees roll out to the sides. And we're going to start to move in this cobbler stretch a little bit here. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, back up towards each other. Inhale, let the knees open out to the side. And exhale, bring the knees back in towards each other. Go at your own pace, moving with the flow of your breath. This is a really nice gentle release for our hips, for those inner thighs. And if you start to notice any little bit of tremor in of those legs, it's just your body's way of releasing tension, so it's absolutely fine. Kind of feels nice when it's released that way. Two more like this. And as your legs come back together up towards the ceiling, we're going to roll over onto our front. So when you're ready, roll yourself over onto your front. I'm going to do a quad stretch. So coming down onto your front, and you're going to bend one knee and reach your hand back. Try and grab your ankle if you can. You can let your head just relax down. And once you're in this position and your body's started to settle, notice if there's a huge space under the front of your hip. And we want to try and bring our pelvis as level into the floor as we can. So don't force it, but maybe think about sending your knee towards the edge of your mat, towards the bottom of your mat, to try and create more length through the front of your thigh. So perhaps your hip can start to release down. Taking those deep breaths, and with each exhale, thinking about sinking down into the floor. Good job. When you're ready, gently releasing that leg down and switch and do the other side, bending the other knee. And again, reaching your hand back to try and grab your ankle. And once your body's settled into that position, again, just noticing whether there's a big space under the front of your hip and whether you can find a little bit more space through that hip to allow your body to relax down. Don't force it. Just breathe, use your breath. And with each exhale, sinking down into the floor. And when you're ready, gently releasing that leg down. We're just going to push ourselves up and back into child's pose to give our back a little stretch out. We are going to come back onto our front again, but let's just take a moment here to find child's pose and reach those arms forwards. And maybe it feels nice in that child's pose to just gently rock side to side here. And then when you feel ready, just come back down onto your front again. And we're going to take it into our inner thigh stretch here. So we're going to bend one knee and slide it out to the side. And then again, once you're here, you're just going to take a moment to notice, have you hitched that hip up higher on that side? Can you find length through both sides of your waist? So I always hitch that hip up, and then I have to think about sending the hip away from me to try and create more length. So just checking that. Take some deep breaths again here and imagine that you're sinking down deeper into the floor. Again, we're thinking about creating space in that hip. So imagine that your knee is reaching out to the side, creating more length in your thigh, space in that hip socket to allow your pelvis to gently ease down into the floor. And then staying with this leg out to the side, instead of having it bent, can you just straighten that leg out? And check again, have you hitched that hip up? Do you need to think about sending that hip away from you to create more length down that side of your waist? And then when you're ready, just bend that knee back in and then just bring that leg all the way back in. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance and just gently rock your hips side to side, just as a little reset before we do the other side. If you feel that you need to, you can push yourself up and back into child's pose and have a stretch if you want to. And then when you're ready, you're going to just do the same on the other side. You're going to bend the knee and slide it out to the side. Again, once your body has settled, you're going to notice any little cheats that you've made. So have you hitched that hip up higher as that leg's come up? Do you need to think about sending that hip away? Is there a huge space under the pelvis? Is your hip really lifted away from the floor? Again, we're going to think about sending that knee out to the side, creating space in the hip to allow your pelvis to sink down into the floor. But we're not forcing. We're just noticing and releasing, taking some deep breaths. Good. And then again, we're just going to straighten that leg out this time. So rather than it being bent, it's out straight. And again, checking in that we've not hitched that hip up high. Do you need to send that hip away from you, creating more length? So this is a really nice way to just release tension through the inner thighs. It's so good for the mobility of your hip joints. And it's kind of passive, isn't it? It's not too much, it's not too taxing. You can lie here. You can watch TV, read a book. All the while doing amazing work for your mobility of your hips and your thighs. Good job. When you're ready, bending that leg back in, bring that leg all the way back in. Again, just do your little hip rock side to side, just freeing off any gripping, any tightness that you are starting to create there. And we're going to push ourselves up and back into child's pose. So when you're ready, finding that child's pose position, bottom back towards your heels, reaching your arms forwards and allowing your upper body to relax down. We're going to come up onto all fours now for a little cat-cow just to kind of finish off. So finding that all fours position, take a breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to tuck your bottom under and roll through your spine, making your back as rounded as you can. Your head is the last thing to move. Take a breath in here, and again as you exhale, let's go the other way. Stick your bottom out, rolling through your spine. Head is the last thing to move. So just go a few times in each direction, just moving with the flow of your breath. Good job. And then when you're ready, coming off your hands, just come to find a seated position. We're only going to be here for a moment. Just gently turn your head from side to side. Coming in through centre, let's just do some little shoulder rolls here. And go the other way. So we did a lot of standing leg strength and balance work. You worked your legs super hard there, so we had a nice little stretch out, so hopefully they won't give you too much achiness tomorrow, but you might feel them a little bit. So thank you so much for being here. Well done everybody.